My dear students of class 8A and B, today I am going to teach you about the topic decline of the Mughals and rise of independent kingdoms. In my previous class, I taught you about the role of our state Bengal, the role of the state Bengal, what happened to Bengal, and how did the Nawabs of Bengal manage their problems, and in which way they all became famous, and what was about the reason the British became powerful in Bengal. Each and every point in my previous class I taught you. Just I reminded you for your better understanding. Today I am going to discuss about the state Ayodh. Ayodh was a state. Ayodh. I am going to discuss about Ayodh. Ayodh was another most important state of our country, India. The time when Ayodh became a center of learning, that time Mughal Emperor Muhammad Shah appointed Sadat Khan as the governor of Ayodh. Sadat Khan, my dear student, was very intelligent and brave. In course of time, Sadat Khan realized that it was the right time to acquire power. So Sadat Khan declared himself independent, and he also took to control over military, political, economic, and military affairs of the state. Sadat Khan strengthened economic stability of the country. Sadat Khan brought remarkable changes in the system of administration. Sadat Khan proved himself to be an efficient ruler, and ultimately Sadat Khan, after his death in the year 1748, my dear students, his son-in-law Safdar Jung was appointed Wazir of Ayodh. Safdar Jung was appointed Wazir of Ayodh. So, under the two Nawabs, Sadat Khan and Safdar Jung, Ayodh witnessed remarkable change, witnessed economic prosperity. Ayodh witnessed remarkable administration, sound administration. The army was reorganized and many fertile neighboring lands were brought under Ayodh's control. So the trade and commerce also flourished. The time when Ayodh became famous, the other in our state Bengal, Alivardi Khan, in consultation with Ayodh, followed a good system of agricultural policy. Growth and development also occurred due to a good combination of understanding between Ayodh and Bengal. Sadat Khan, who declared himself independent, used to consult Murshid Quli Khan, who also, the time when Sadat Khan came to power, that time Murshid Quli Khan was not there. Who was there? That time Alivardi Khan was there. So Sadat Khan initially declared himself independent on being encouraged by the footsteps of the previous rulers. Murshid Quli Khan was there, who declared for the first time independent, and later on Ayodh followed the same system. Ayodh brought remarkable change in the system of administration, in the system of economic growth, by solving the financial burden of the state, and by bringing prosperity for the people of Ayodh. That's why, my dear students, the age Ayodh witnessed a remarkable era under the two Nawabs, Sadat Khan and his son-in-law, Safdar Jung. The next one, the role of Sadat Khan. Who was Sadat Khan? Sadat Khan was appointed a governor of Ayodhya. By whom? By Mughal Emperor Muhammad Shah. Muhammad Shah, Sadat Khan actually came to the court of Muhammad Shah, and Muhammad Shah appointed him as Wazir of Ayodhya. But Sadat Khan, from the very, very beginning, had great courage, brave. He was brave, he was courageous. That's why, from the very, very beginning, he was optimistic. He knew that the time would come, he would be able to establish himself and would become the architect of his own future, architect of his own fate, own fortune. So the time came when Muhammad Shah became weaker, and everywhere the rule of the Mughal was declaring weak, other local rulers declaring themselves independent. Sadat Khan also took the advantage. Sadat Khan declared himself independent, and he paid attention to the growth and development of the country, Ayodhya, growth and development of the state, Ayodhya. So Ayodhya, during the rule of Sadat Khan, became very much powerful, because Sadat Khan himself was very powerful ruler and good administrator. That's why, under the rule of Sadat Khan, Ayodhya witnessed remarkable prosperity and sound administration. But after the death of Sadat Khan in the year 1748, his son-in-law Safdar Jung was appointed Wazir of Ayodhya. He came to power and he followed the same technique, same method, same policy of his father-in-law, and also kept on doing it. Framed new policies for the growth and development of the state. At the same time, he also attracted the people to be a part of administration, encouraged the people to consider the state affairs to be the affairs of themselves. By this way, most of the areas of Ayodhya came under the control of the administration of Safdar Jung. Safdar Jung was a very peaceful ruler, but at the same time brave also. That's why during his rule there was no dishonesty in the state. Almost all people were happy, honest, rich and prosperous. That's why the era witnessed a remarkable development during the rule of Safdar Jung. Safdar Jung, during the period of Safdar Jung, there was a remarkable development in the field of agriculture and agricultural growth. Peasants and farmers, they all were happy, rich and prosperous. Since land revenue was the chief source of income of the state, Safdar Jung gave importance to its increasement, and Safdar Jung decided to help the peasants and farmers. All agricultural lands were used as the land for good harvest. Peasants and farmers cultivated and produced large quantities of crops from there. Ultimately, Ayodhya became a great state of India. And next one, role of Safdar Jung I discussed, and the next one, improvement of Lucknow. Improvement of Lucknow. Importance of Lucknow. What was the importance of Lucknow, my dear students? Importance of Lucknow. Lucknow, which was the capital of Ayodhya. Lucknow was the capital city of Ayodhya. Witnessed a remarkable development in the field of art and architecture. in the field of cultural development, in the field of art, development in the field of art and architecture. Lucknow stood a good position throughout the country, throughout India. It also became a great center of learning, a great center of art and architecture, and as a result of it, there established peace and economic prosperity. Art and architecture flourished during this period. The Baro Imambara was constructed at Lucknow. The Baro Imambara is an example of the new architectural style, new architectural form that was developed in Ayodhya during the 18th century. And following the same technique, same architectural style, method, another Imambara also was constructed in Murshidabad. The Imambara which was constructed, the same style, same art, they followed while constructing the Imambara in Murshidabad. The same style, same technique they follow from which Imambara? From the Baro Imambara of Lucknow. Its style, its architectural design, all these things were followed by the Imambara of Murshidabad. So ultimately, the another Imambara which was constructed in Murshidabad, it also reflects the image, the glory of the king, of the Nawab of Murshidabad and the Nawab of Ayodhya. The time when Lucknow became famous, the people became very much happy because of good administration. Since it was the capital city, there was no dishonesty. People were well disciplined. Since under the rule of Safdarjung, a good system of administration was established, law and order was developed and was established strongly. That's why almost all people during the age of Safdarjung and Sadat Khan, both the two Nawabs, brought remarkable change in Ayodhya. So Ayodhya became a great center of learning, great center of art, great center of architecture, and great center of construction. A number of constructive works also they had adapted and did it with a view to increase the image, glorify the image of the Nawabs. That's why during the age of Safdarjung, Baro Imambara was constructed, and then it became an example. It became an example of the new architectural form that was developed in Ayodhya during the 18th century, my dear students. The new Imambara which was constructed, the construction work was completed at the time of Safdarjung, but the construction work was started by, it is said, Sadat Khan. Sadat Khan started the construction work of Baro Imambara at Lucknow. But after the death of Sadat Khan, his son-in-law, Safdarjung, completed the remaining part of the construction, and then Baro Imambara became a great center of art and culture and architecture. Following the same style, same method, the other rulers also, other Nawab of Bengal also started constructing another Imambara. And the time when it was started, construction was started, that time who was the Nawab? That time it is said that time Murshid Quli's son-in-law Sujauddin Khan was the Nawab of Bengal, Bihar and Odisha. It is said that during the rule of Sujauddin Khan, the construction of another Imambara Murshidabad was started, and it was completed the time when Nawab Alivardi was there. Nawab Alivardi completed the construction work of the Imambara. So both the two Imambaras resembles, both the two Imambaras are of equal importance, equal designs. Both of the Imambaras attract the people, the visitors, the travelers of the country. So that's why, as a capital city of Ayodhya, Lucknow made herself to be one of the most important capital cities of India because of its agricultural growth, because of its financial growth, because of its art, architecture, because of its learning. Everywhere there came a remarkable development during the rule of, Safdar And during the rule of Safdar as a capital city, Lucknow had become famous and important. Up to this, my dear students, next day the remaining part will be continued. Thank you.